Thank you for joining us for lunch. Thank you for being here today. I think almost everyone in this room is from Texas or Chihuahua, except me. So thank you. It's a great pleasure for me to come down from Seattle and spend a little bit of time here. You're going to hear from a wonderful group of dignitaries. I do want to call out at the beginning two special guests. We're thrilled and really honored to have with us the Mayor of El Paso, Di Margo, the Mayor of Juarez, Armando Cavada. Thank you for being here with us. It's my pleasure to just spend a few minutes and tell you what we at Microsoft are doing here. Not just the what, but the why. It's been a fascinating and impressive journey for us to start to get more involved here in El Paso and now Juarez. The journey, in a way, started just 2 years ago. We decided that we would launch an initiative. It's called TechSpark. And the goal of the initiative would be to get us better connected with 6 communities across the United States. Communities, in some cases, where we had a presence, and in other places where we did not. But the goal in every community was to do 2 things. The first was to learn more deeply how technology is changing the local community, how it's changing the economy, how it's impacting jobs. And the second, and in some ways more important goal, is to learn how technology can play a positive role in creating more opportunity for people. We wanted to have 6 communities that were each different from each other. After all, if we went to 6 places that were all the same, we wouldn't have the opportunity to learn nearly as much. When you look across the country, El Paso is by far the biggest city of the 6. The other 5 are spread across the country, from southwestern Virginia to northeastern Wisconsin, from north central North Dakota to the middle of Wyoming, to the eastern part of Washington state, where Microsoft itself is located. Many of the places are more rural. None of the places are on the coast. We really wanted to connect more and identify the opportunities for how we can use technology in every part of the country. One of the first steps we took in deciding to come to El Paso is a step that we took everywhere else as well. It was to start by hiring somebody who is from the local community to run the program full-time. That led us to J.J. Childress, who you met. Of course, you all will be quick to point out to us that if we had done more of our homework in advance, we would have realized on day one what it took us a few months to conclude, that you really cannot be part of the El Paso community unless you're part of the Juarez community as well. That's where Omar comes in. We realized that when we came to El Paso and Juarez, that in part we were coming to a place in North America with some of the deepest roots and richest heritage that you can find anywhere. I am struck by the fact that there were Europeans living in El Paso and Juarez a full 130 years before Europeans even discovered Puget Sound and where Seattle is located today. I was immediately struck when I had my first opportunity to come here by what you all appreciate and benefit from every day. This is a place that's unique. It's not just 2 cities that share a common border. It's 2 cities that come from 2 countries, that speak 2 languages, that represent 2 cultures, and have a unique opportunity to pursue opportunities together. And that's what struck us about what it meant to come here to El Paso and Juarez. As we thought about it and had the opportunity to meet people who were here, we had the opportunity to get to know people in both cities, in the mayor's offices, in the governor's offices, in the local business communities. One of the goals that we brought was to identify new ways that technology might help create 21st century jobs. Because after all, even a place with a rich heritage can advance into the future only if it does so with the next generation jobs that the next generation or even this generation of people need. As we look around the world and we look across the country, we think that our economy is at an inflection point. A century ago, 4 or 5 decades of this continent and of every continent were reshaped by a single invention. It was the combustion engine. The combustion engine, more than any single invention, moved the world away from literally a horse-drawn economy to an automobile-driven economy. The population of horses in America declined. The focus of farmers changed. The crops they grew was literally altered. The jobs of one era started to go away. The jobs of a new era took their place. And when you look at the history of the first half of the 20th century, you see both great opportunities and successes and great challenges and even upheavals. A few months from now, everybody across this continent and the world is going to be talking about artificial intelligence and the 2020s. And so our goal here has been to get a bit of a head start on that. And when we looked at the role that technology is playing, we had to look no farther than one specific individual in Juárez, Ricardo, who you will hear from later. What we learned is that at the T-Hub, the technology hub in Juárez, Ricardo Mora has been leading the way in bringing firms together, bringing companies together to apply digital technology and put it to work. And so that's one of the first opportunities that we identified in where we hope to make a difference. We piloted on a program this summer. It's called the Bridge Accelerator. And I think in so many ways it reflects all of the things that we're here to talk about today. It brought together 5 companies from El Paso and 5 companies from Juárez. In some cases bigger companies, in some cases smaller companies. Companies that reflect the richness of this economy. Companies focused on manufacturing and logistics and transportation. And we worked in this pilot with these 10 companies to start to deploy new uses of digital technology so they could create new jobs. In just this pilot effort, it has expanded the businesses of these 10 companies. They've seen 52 new purchase orders come in with roughly $1.5 million of new business. They have now 32 more purchase orders waiting to be acted upon. They've attracted $250,000 of additional venture capital. They've created 33 new jobs on both sides of the border. That, I think, is the promise that we all have the opportunity to pursue. But this isn't just about creating new jobs. It's about ensuring that the people who live here have the opportunity to pursue them. In part, that means expanding opportunities for people who grow up here. And that, of course, means bringing new skills to schools. Across the United States, we at Microsoft for almost a decade have been pursuing a program called Technology Education and Literacy in Schools, TEALS. The promise is simple. Go into a high school that doesn't have a computer science teacher and work with the math teacher, or work with a science teacher, and bring in a volunteer from industry who knows computer science and let them team teach together. And after a couple of years, the math teacher is now the computer science teacher as well. Last year, we started in El Paso in 4 schools. This year, this week, this day, Monday morning, we're in 19 schools in El Paso. We have 63 volunteers. We have 63 volunteers from this community, from other communities, from all types of companies and industry, spending their time, and now we're focused on doing the same thing or something similar in Juárez as well. We see the opportunity to do more with UTEP and the great post-secondary institutions here, to build on the relationships that we already have. We see opportunities to expand programs to create new career pathways for people people who may need to move from one type of job and want to pursue another. In short, it's a deep partnership that we've begun to establish. But this isn't the last day. This is the first day of everything that will follow. I just want you to know, on behalf of everyone at Microsoft, we are thrilled to be here. We so appreciate the warm welcome of all of you in this room and people from 2 great cities in 2 great countries. We believe in the future of El Paso. We believe in the future of Juarez. We want to be part of it. Thank you very much.